Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli out here in the shop, and I want to talk to you today about a really amazing modification for adding flash and a little bit of vibration to a bait, to a hard bait like a topwater, a jerkbait, a crankbait, but even to some other shapes like a spoon, a blade bait, or a through line swim bait. I'm going to show you probably the easiest modification you'll ever make in your life. You know, we're right here on the heels of iCast just a little bit ago, and VMC introduced a product called a bladed hybrid treble. A bladed hybrid treble. And when you look at that, it's a 1X strong treble hook. Comes in all the sizes from 6 all the way up to a number 2. And in the middle of that treble is integrated a small willow blade on a swivel. Integrated into the hook. You know, there's been these kind of modifications before, but never has it been so easy to open up the pack and replace this treble with a factory treble, adding a little bit of flash and vibration from that blade. You know, again, I want to stress that this is a cool mod for a lot of baits across the board. I've rigged some up here to give you an idea of some of the ways I fish them. You know, one, and this is an obvious one, is on a topwater. A walking bait like this Skidder V, a popper, a prop bait, a hard topwater. By changing out that back hook, it adds a little bit of flash to the rear of that bait. Look at that. It's on a ball bearing swivel hook. So that thing's going to add a little flash to the back of that bait. The other nice thing about adding this to a topwater is it's just a hair more weight in the back. So it'll also enhance that tail down position. But as it walks, you're going to get that side to side. Now you're going to get a little bit of flash from that blade. The other thing that's neat is you're going to get a little bit of sound that you wouldn't normally get. And that blade, that metal, hitting metal, just a little ting, 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 ting. So on a topwater, it's phenomenal, especially on the pause, as that fish looks up and sees that flash of that blade. On a jerkbait, this thing can be phenomenal. And on a jerkbait, I like to play with it. I like to go from the rear, just like a topwater, but I also like to add it to the belly of a jerkbait. Look at that. A little modification on the belly to give a jerkbait more flash. And as you twitch that thing in that cadence, now you're going to get that side to side plus flash of the blade. Here's the great thing about this modification. Adding that bladed hybrid treble does not affect the action of the bait whatsoever. On the jerkbait, if you want it to be nose up, add it to the tail. If you want a little bit more of that nose down positioning, add it to the belly. Great little mod for a jerkbait. The next one is the real sleeper. And this is adding flash to a crankbait. Man, this one this year has really helped me, especially in fisheries where the fish are feeding on some form of bait fish. Shiners, shad, alewives, minnows, fatheads, dace. When you're trying to imitate something bait fish like, dude, that silver flash of that blade is unbelievable. I've had a lot of comments come through before this video saying, can you add it to a crankbait? Will it affect the action? You absolutely can add it to a crankbait. Want to go to the tank for this one because this one's so special. I want to show it to you. And watch this thing with an uninterrupted movement, and I want you to watch the flash of that blade. Watch the flash of that blade. Notice the movement of the bait. The vibration's not affected at all. And when I stop it, look at that blade just flashing away, ticking away. Look at that. There's that normal float rate. Doesn't affect it. 100% factory vibration with a little bit of flash. Unbelievable mod to a crankbait. But you know, I don't want to just leave it at hard baits. Any bait you're throwing that takes a treble hook, this thing's perfect for. from jigging spoons to vibrating blade baits, even through-line spinners. Look at through-line swim baits. Look at that through-line swim bait with that treble hook in the belly and now a little bit of flash and a hair more vibration. You know, a big time to do this is when the fishing's tough. There's a million dudes in front of you and they're all throwing the same thing. Add that, you're going to get a few more bites. In clear water, so important to add that in clear water to give it that natural flash. And, you know, last but not least, when you're trying to imitate bait fish, you got to try this modification. Probably the easiest modification we ever talked about in the shop video. It's replacing your blades with the brand new VMC Blade Hybrid Treble. It's as simple as taking it out of the pack, adding it to your bait, and just keep fishing. Mike Iaconelli out here in the shop. Try this mod. You're going to catch more fish.